Routes play an important part in AngularJS and single-page applications in general. So in this section, we're going to talk about what routes are and the different pieces that are used to compose routes, as well as some of the different components that are built into AngularJS that are used to define routes. Now, when it comes to single-page applications, really the whole point of them is we want to be able to load different views and navigate around, and we only have one shell page though, thus the name single-page application, of course. So we might load, for instance, view 1 as the default view, but then as a user interacts with that, we might navigate to a view 2 path, which might load a view called view 2. And then when they click on that, maybe a link or a button, we go to view 3, and you can see it kind of goes around here. Now, of course, the user can go backwards, they could hit the back button, and one of the powerful features of spas in AngularJS is if they're on view 4 and they went this route here, then if they hit the back button, they should go to view 3. If they hit it again, back to view 2, and you get the idea. Now, that's not normal because normally in a browser, whatever previous website you were at, when you hit the back button, you'd go back to that. History is actually managed for us by AngularJS, so once we've defined routes, all the history management and the navigation is taken care of behind the scenes, so we don't really have to worry about that. Now, AngularJS routes associate a view with a controller. So if we had a route such as /customers, then we might want to load a customers controller, and then the view that would load might be customers.html. So a route really kind of marries or associates a controller with a view. Now, up to this point in the course, you've learned about the ng controller directive, and that's one way we can hook a controller into a view. But another way we can do it is using routes. Now, we do need to load a specific module that's not part of the regular AngularJS script that we've seen up to this point. And that module is called ng-route, and it lives in a separate script. This is something you can get from AngularJS, very easy to work with and configure to help get you started. Once we've done that, we can actually use a module to configure routes, and we configure those routes using something called a route provider. And a route provider is something that's just built into AngularJS out of the box, and it's very simple to get started with, as you'll see. Now, when it comes to getting started with configuring routes, we're going to be using an AngularJS module. So we're going to do the standard angular.module, get to the module that we want, and then we can call a special function called config. Now, into this function, you're going to have a route provider, which will be injected automatically. And this route provider is going to be used to determine what happens as you navigate to a given path. So for instance, when we go to /customers, that might load customers HTML view and customers controller. Whereas when we go to /orders for the path, that might load orders.html and orders controller. So it's actually very simple to get started with, and that's what we're going to be looking at in the sections that follow in this module.